Okay, so it's 3:06, and it is the strawberry moon or whatever they're calling this moon. I don't know. They've always got a name for all these dates and portals and moons and everything. But anyways, when I was curious to see how red it was going to be when I got up, and I was like around 2. And it was kind of like, it seemed like I was in like a deep sleep, but then all of a sudden it was just like I just woke up, and then I was just like, I don't know, where I just can't get comfortable. And so, and as soon as I get up, then Stella just comes right out. Oh, I want this, I want that. So, anyways, and she's been whining up until just now. So we'll see. That, but let me see. So the moon, when I looked outside, I wouldn't say it looked like super red, but whatever. Everything's so fucking fake. I just like, but the astrologer people say this is some big fucking huge thing that is going to create this big change. But we've been going through all these different events of change where the zodiac or the sun and the moon and the stripes and stars, everything is showing the transition that is occurring. And yeah, it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And that really has people held up. Excuse me, lady. I'm telling you this, but this moon is definitely, the shit going on is definitely affecting my animals. Like, oh my gosh. Just lay down, honey. So my nails. Man, see, I ran out of biotin. I didn't have biotin for a couple days, and right away my nails start breaking. Like, fuck, man, what is this biotin shit, man? How does it have such an effect on shit? And if it affects my nails, it's got to be affecting other things. I just, it's weird because we just were taught so wrong and we grew up so misled. But then when you start just really realizing what's up with the minerals and what they're doing to us and shit. So, anyways, I have, there's a bunch of stuff. And and it's like, it's like kind of scattered, but it's just like, just look at this stuff, not just the way that it's being promoted. And there's so much negative promotion out there, even with the spiritual people. And you got to remember too, that this group of spiritual people just woke up and got all up in their own ass. I may have read a Dolores Cannon book or something, but I don't know what, because there was so much of one person's information out there. What Dolores Cannon said was like, and there's a whole lot of stuff. And so you have to like put it together, not just what one person says. And so, but I just saw this video of this girl, I don't know, she was crying or she was so emotional or whatever. And she had said like in 2020 or whatever, she woke up, spiritually. Because that's what a lot of these people, they wake up, their spirit wakes up, but then there's more to it. And then they just go off and like, oh, I'm a starseed light working queen of the Anunnaki, all this stuff. Get your crystals here, folks. And I'm selling the t-shirts. It's just like, it's crazy what they... Oh, just please stop, okay? She's going to be interrupting me. I can tell. So, I'm not going to listen. I'm just going to talk. So, just get it together. I'm already giving her medicine. She's gone outside. She's eating. So, like, there's a disruption, though. So, this stuff is like a lot of stuff. Okay. Oh, so, okay. So, the spiritual people, when they woke up, they just went into, like, oh, wow, like realizing there's a spirit in there or something, which when you're indoctrinated and programmed into you're going to die, that is very empowering to realize you're not. But look at how they're slipping backwards right now. They're slipping back into fear and this is real and all this stuff. And not seeing the bigger picture, not seeing what's just a lot of things. And so when they woke up, they didn't necessarily connect to their spirit. It's the same thing as where you have all these Christians who go to church, so they believe that they follow Jesus' path, but they really don't. They don't, ascribe to passivity and because right now here we're having this extreme violence that is escalating. Then we have the counter is the passivity of nature, of human nature. And so when we ascribe to that theory and we allow things to happen for the better good or for the betterment of our intelligence or our psyche or our learning, then we allow things to happen, and then we don't overreact. Overreacting is a lower vibration. Trying to control things is a lower vibration. And so the path that Jesus, if he's real and stuff, it's the path of many prophets. I mean, you can say Buddha, I'm sure Allah, I mean, all of these different prophets that have come and spoken. But I think there's a misinformation. Once it starts telling you to, you're right and everybody else is wrong, and conquer the rest of them and stuff, that's low vibration. That's not that's not the higher plan of spiritual connection. So that is misleading. You have to connect inside yourself to understand what's misleading and what's real and what's not real and stuff. And people aren't actually connecting. It's like they're having an introduction or something, but there's more to the spiritual path. And being more passive is also being more reflective. But the other thing too is that also in the spiritual understanding, if you were to like physically assault life, go at it in an aggressive manner, that you are creating a disturbance, and that would be a karmic wave. And so you don't want to be going through life in here Taurus. I see a bowl in a china shop. So you wouldn't want to be going through and knocking things down, because everything you knock down, it's up to you to fix it. And it's just the law and order of the universe. It's not like a crime. It's just natural order. There's nothing you can do about it. What you put out comes back to you. And so it's up to you to change the wave effect, the vibration, the your vibration. It's what you're putting out. And so, and what you're putting out is going to attract. And but anyways, so there's certain understandings in the spiritual, like when you actually go and study and try and really understand, and through different philosophers and different aspects of life and things. And there's just a lot of things uh, to like aspire towards and to transform you. And so, in that is the spiritual journey, is one of transformation. And so in there's more to the understanding of when you question what you're doing here and you connect into yourself to follow the path of what you believe you're doing here. And so that is, going and living through your spirit is a lot of learning to trust the universe and to the purpose of life. And there's just a lot to it. I mean, I talk about all these different things, but it's different way of life. It's different way of being than what a lot of people live. And so that, so when all these people woke up, they didn't start going towards that. And right now, this is a really big time because this is a time of transformation, and it is on a bigger scale in the micro macro, and everything is a ripple out from everything else. So this change is occurring on the planet because it's a new age, it's a reset, it's a time where the game changes, the stage is changed for the next show. And so everything is a big wave of change. And so when you realize about the cycles and everything going on and you can see what's happening, then you go into like meditation and stuff and talk to your guides, and they'll, confirm to you that everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And, live present in the moment. Learn, the things that are hard to do, those are your challenges. So learn and take the opportunities to learn how to be better at them. And so use your time, and you don't use your time wisely if you sit in fear of everything that's going to happen, because there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, and not everything is going to be aimed towards us. It's just going to be a lot of different things happening in a lot of different people's lives, and that can be super stressful. But when you also go more into understanding about spirituality, then you understand the individuality of experience. And just because it happens over there doesn't mean it's going to happen for you. To me, when it's going to happen to you is when you take notice and you judge, then you get to go through that experience that's similar to give you a perspective over, don't be judgmental. That seems to be a real big message in the universe, and it's challenging. So, and you can't do it wrong, no matter where you are. It's a spectrum. So there's always going to be worse. There's always going to be better, and the guide of a soul is the drive to want to be better, and the drive towards expansive. Just think of a spark, and what does the spark want to do? It wants to live, it wants to shine, it wants to go as high as it can go. And so that is what we are in our core, at our soul level. We're this energetic spark of excitement. And so but, it's obvious here in this density that you can be tricked and misled. But we, as beings of light, would see this as a challenge. But, anyways, so for these people who don't have any, they never think about spirituality through their whole lives and aren't living it. They're living, I guess, in the moment of self-gratification, of trying to survive. I'm not really sure the drive, because, my guide has just been talking to me since I was little. So I've always been leaning into spiritual side of life, because I've always been listening to them and talking with them and looking at life in a deeper way. And when you try and force things and stuff, see, there's a karmic repercussions. And that is like where, some of these people right now who want to break out into violence and stuff, but that would, to me, show that they're at a different level if they're still trying to rack up more karma instead of trying to let it go. So karma is like these spiritual entanglements with different beings and stuff. And so any of the pressures that you feel in any kind of relationships, it's best to do your best to look at them different, you know. Try and learn it, like a forgiveness, seeing the person as, not the enemy, but just another person who's out there trying to survive and trying to make it and as lost as everybody else. And no matter how many people put on a front of, it shows in the seams, it shows the leaks. The life is showing the leaks, and a lot of people are in denial of looking at their leaks, but they're out there, and the universe isn't going to give up. The universe isn't going home about this. It's going to keep pushing so that people, because we're going into the time of mirrors, this is it's going to keep pushing people to have a look at themselves, because they don't see that they are living this false life. They're not living their truth, which keeps them disconnected from their soul. But in this video that I saw, this girl, so she said that she had her spiritual awakening like 2020 or whatever. And she said, but now, like 6 months ago or whatever, 6 weeks ago, something recent, she had a situation, something happen, and that it was so groovy, man. It made her really see the truth, like it's real. It's like, so it's like they weren't, I mean, she's all crying about, like, it's not just spiritual following, it's real. Yeah, it's real. And so anyways, there's a lot of people out there who are spiritually leading people who are lost. They're just pretending. They're not. They're still continuing the pretend game, the fake game of trying to just be something. Fake it till you make it, I guess. But it's. But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. And if you're trying to be more spiritual, you have to be more connected to the spiritual side. You have to listen to your own spirit. You got to look at the connection your spirit has to all the spirits around you, which in this instance would be what we would call nature. Nature is all of the spirits, and it goes deeper because it can go into the spirits you don't see. And it just is so wild to me, when people don't believe in that anything's around us. There's shit around us. And to me, even on a missing chair situation, to me, they come up with this whole storyline of who is going to go, so this person just walking around looking for stuff to steal. They're going to pick this heavy ass fucking thing. What are they going to sell it on Marketplace for $10? Who's going to buy it? It just is so, like, there's nothing in any of the stories where I'm just like, oh yeah, that probably happened. No. It's like, no, there's some mysteries going on, and that is to get us to wake up and see the spiritual world around us. And people are so resistant. They'll come up with anything instead of recognizing. And when you try and tell them you're crazy, it's like, well, okay. They're all around us. So, whatever. Yesterday, I got on a movie vein of all of that in these movies. And the spirits around us. And they portray a lot of it in the movies as demons and stuff like that. But really, in this place where we're at, in this low density, it is a lot of dark energy. It just, I don't give them the because they're not as devious or dastardly is what people give them the energy of thinking, like, oh, they're this and that, and trying to outsmart us and stuff like that. There's definitely beings down here trying to outsmart us. That's what we are in this trap. But the dark energy that's all around us is just way more mindless. It's way more emotionally driven. And see why, as a spirit, why, as an advanced spirit, that you have to have more control over your emotions, because otherwise you just become a dark emotion, just suckling off everybody else who has that emotion. Because it's weird, because when I can see some of this stuff, I can see it in this other kind of way. It's like these little weird things play out, and it's like a level that I'm not really understanding. It's definitely a soul kind of thing and stuff, and I see like these different things happen to the soul, and it plays out in like these cartoon kind of things, and being sucked back, and there's lots of things, but but I don't know how to explain them at all. So anyways, so let's see, so the spirit, but the way you want to connect is, going in, it's like introspection is what, or reflection, which I think is what they consider meditation. But a lot of people just were meditating is to try and like lucid dream, to try and like, or astral project or something, to be able to go to other places and talk to other beings and have crazy experiences. But really, self-reflection or meditation or introspection is more of a centering yourself. And people who do it that way go and just center and relax and just, but there's a lot of the clear your mind, and to me it's not. It's like open the door for a different kind of conversation. Go in and look at things, and reevaluate situations and people and different things, because there's different things that you need to do at different aspects. Sometimes you got to have better boundaries. Sometimes you got to be vulnerable. Sometimes you got to learn how to be all these things. You got to develop. And that's one of the things what the spiritual people didn't do. They got so caught up in, being eternal, saviors of the planet now. More martyrs, because they can't save themselves. So anyways, and it's weird too, because where is their quantum control and stuff? I mean, their timeline jump in 1 minute, and then the next minute they're going to be blown to smithereens and won't exist anymore, because God sent them on this mission that it's so wacky, all this stuff. But it's like all these scary stories or something, and people are so like trapped in this it's like a distinguishable reality. And so but people are just, they pretend to go inside, but then they don't really do it. And because things would be, I don't know, when you have the people who are out there trying to lead people spiritually, and they're so lost, that then, and they haven't done their healing or anything. But anyways, when you do go into, living through your spirit and stuff, then you see the purpose behind everything going on, and you see that it's going to happen the way it's going to happen, and that when you came here to go along for this ride, what would be the reason? Well, for the things that you can benefit, the things that you can learn. And so everything you're going through, you got to look at things deeper. And so when you go into like introspection, meditation, or whatever, it's more conversation. It's not just quieting the mind. It's just looking through yourself and seeing things. And you have to be honest with yourself and clear with yourself, but also you don't always know everything you're gonna know. You don't know it from the start. You're here to learn it. So you learn it. Different things come to you at different times, but there's a reason behind it. It's not like you can do it wrong, just like you can't change the events that are going to play out. They're going to play out the way they're going to play out. And that is destiny. And whether it's like, we're stuck in a certain timeline and it's going to play out or whatever, is you still see all these people, jumping timelines all the time. It's like, well, mine's not changed. Like, everything's just going the same it was going yesterday. So, I don't know what it is that they think has changed, but it's kind of like they all just start saying the same things and don't think about them. So they all get all caught up in all the fear and stuff over what's going on. And so some of the different things that I saw that are happening, besides the spiritual people really waking up and starting to realize, oh, spiritual world's real, oh, aliens are real, oh, this stuff is real. Yeah, so anyways, but there are some, who have that awareness, but I don't know that they didn't just jump into really focus on, being the all-knowing, or if they have really focused on doing their healing. And then it's just going to keep kicking people's asses until they focus on what they're supposed to be focused on. And so and just watch and see. Just watch and see. If I sound, like, well, everybody's not here for healing or whatever. Just watch and see when whatever's going to happen, how it's going to just flip all of a sudden. And then you're going to see all these people suddenly going towards healing. And when everybody starts going towards this healing, it's going to just create this total change in our world. And then that's what creates uh, this new age, this new period of time, this healed, loving time that we're going to go into. It's created through these things that are happening and all of the healing that people are going to do. So I'm always talking about the healing, but that is what is the specific thing that needs to be happening. And so people are not focused on that. They got focused more on their ego of being special. They got more focused on the fears of the things going on. They got, like, they just all went and just, but going, really connecting to yourself is, it's not like a big show. It's learning to trust, and everything's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if a bomb comes in and blows right here. You're not flesh and blood that's going to go through this horrible thing. It is, you just bounce. You're out. You just leave. Your energy pops out. And in some cases, the movie continues for a second because it has an impact on the people that is impacted by it, the people who are the closest to the situation. Then that is part of their storyline. So sometimes it can look like, oh my God, the most horrible thing, all the horrible things, and there's reasons behind them, and there's lots. There's tons of horrible things going on, tons of horrible stuff. Moms just can't stop killing their kids, and dads can't stop killing their kids, and it's just like, and we got a world where kids don't have value, life doesn't have value. People just feed this insatiable lust in themselves, this narcissistic drive, this mindless reaction, this feeding the beast, this the fetish kind of environment. You know, you got little girls going out feeling like they ought to be sexy, and women don't have any value if they're not desired sexually by the Bonnie Blue stuff has just got me so grossed out lately, especially like when you see video after video. And I tried to say this yesterday in comments on somebody's video, and it would not, it went off, went off, went off, it would not let me. So this, I'm going to definitely say, you're going to have to pick up on what I'm putting down. Because during, you know, the reign of the little troll, and what he developed, and what we all, some of us, lived through back in the 80s. And so then, as things developed over time, then it started being like, oh, it didn't come from monkeys. I knew it didn't from the very beginning. I was telling people, that is dumb. And people believed some of that stupid ass shit. Like, oh yeah, in Africa, they're having sex with monkeys. And then they've created this disease and it's spread all the way over here. Only just goes around and it gets gay people and then drug addicts and stuff. Okay. Well, it's got to pass by, you know, it's got to have a carrier agent. So, yeah. They've been targeting groups of people for a long time. And so that fella who did that, who brought it back for a second go, well, who knows, this could be 100th go for this sickness. This could be something they just pull out of their fucking test tubes and every reset. But anyways, so, but it's made a big comeback. And especially, you know, because the Tinder and Grindr drive, and everybody needing to have, you know, 100 hands touching them, that is the perfect playground for the breeding of these certain sicknesses. And so just kind of programmed or misled to go and, you know, sleep around like this for, you know, it doesn't matter. And then at the same time that this is introduced, then the epidemic, or that word, so, you know, that word, I don't think I completely saw it. So, anyways, that is, you know, bad. And so, that is happening right now. And there's all sorts of videos with the numbers being run, and it's going crazy, of course, and more condensed. There could be, you know, I mean, when you go out to rural, it's, you know, one person can go out there and affect the whole thing. But in highly populated places, it's really spinning out. And so there's a lot of it going around. And so at the same time that that's happening, then we got fucking Bonnie Blue and her skankness. See, it's hard to not be judgmental sometimes. Like, it's a challenge, man. We're not all perfect. But anyway, so, you know, this poor girl who really has no self-love and whatever, she's here to play this role. So, and so I think I don't know, I've lost track of time, but it seems like in the past 3 years, it seems like the past 2 years, it seems like it's like every 6 months, honestly. But she makes huge money off of going to, so she puts a thing out in a university and says, hey, I'm going to be in town, buy your tickets now. And so men line up to pay $1,000 or whatever to pull a train on this chick. And so, uh, so she'll do it like with 1,200 people in 24 hours or something. I just find it so repulsive. Like, why? What is it? What in the classless society do we got going on here? Like, what in the holy hell? It's not just her. Like, all these guys, you're pay to pull it. That used to be like back in the day when we were younger and guys would go and do stuff like that. That, if you were last, yeah, it was nasty. And that was like what, third or fourth? Now what do you got? I'm number 999. It's like gross. God, oh God, and they enter, oh God, it's so much, just like, oh God, could be any nastier. And so anyways, now this last shenanigan was just, just come in and do whatever you want. I mean, it's cool. But it's not just the money she makes off that. The whole thing is videoed. She sells those and she promotes them on a channel of, I would assume, one of those that allows that, on one of those pages. And so she sells content about this whole thing, about, the action shots, I guess. And so she's a millionaire doing this. And she's like 25 and she looks like she's 40 or something. She's been rode hard, or she's lying about her age. But she promotes guys that just turned 18. Like, that's, she really likes that. So she puts that on her thing. But, I mean, out of 1,500 guys, she gets a few. It's so weird. I just can't even get over it. And then there's all these girls doing videos of them fighting with their boyfriends because their boyfriends are going to go do it. It's like, this has got to be a joke. This can't be real. Like, what in... I can't imagine a guy with any dignity paying to be, 875. Like, give me a fucking break. Does it cost extra to be number one? Even number 2 or 3, for God's sakes? So, anyways, it's just like really, and she just sells herself as a receptacle. And I guess she even talks about how great it is that she doesn't use any, anything to protect her from anything. And during a period of time when we got this going, with the word that we shall not say, that's happening. So, anyways, it just all goes together to me. All of it. And there's going to be some that's going to play out not good for people. And that's their journey in this whole situation. But everything is to get us to be different, to think different, to act different. Like, how in the world did we get to a society where guys are going to pay, lining up to pay to be 1,122? Yeah, I was 13. I was 75. Oh my God. So sick. So, I bet you do have to pay more to be earlier on in the game. It starts getting, the tickets go cheaper. It's just like the seats further out from the show. Like, I don't know, sick. But there's this drive in our world, and there's, girls lowering themselves to just be this receptacle of men's discharge, I guess. Then that is, and all these other guys. Oh God. And it all happens fast. She's not going in and cleaning up in between. Like, I don't know. I was getting way too many fetishy kind of things, with these. God. But I don't know. If you got all these different. Okay, let's just talk about something else. So, anyways, but everything in this world is to get us to, like, have morals, if you ask me. Because your soul, when it's, doing well, wouldn't be going and doing stuff like that. It wouldn't participate. Even when a girl is wanting to sell herself in such a state of degradation or greed in this case, or just fattishly weird fun. I think a lot of it has to do with greed because she talks about all her millions of money she makes off of this, and so what she's doing, she's making money. It's like, well, I don't know, integrity, self-respect. Um, so, anyways, the that shit's going. And so, anyways, I'm changing over to this other thing because some of the stuff I've seen. So, and two of my daughters did go up here because the rumor on the street was uh, the frozen cube things. They were here nabbing up 21-year-old, just nabbed him out of his house and took him. And so get to the streets. And as soon as they got out there, I guess we're getting shot at with rubber, those things that are rubber. And, there was violence immediately. So they took off and we came back and went back. But they're like, we have to stand up to tyranny. And it's just so funny is because, it's so true. But everybody's being so misdirected, and it's so crazy how they think like this one guy has got all this power, this big dictator, there's this shit going on. And it's like, no, he is fighting against the corporation, which the corporation would go further back as to the church and the crown, the globe, the ones who try to sell us on the globe. This group of people, it goes back to the original people and the original tribe, but there's also, so who I see is the Vamps, but then there's the original people, then there is other colonizers, and so it's a whole thing, because it's not just the Vamps. The Vamps got into coots with the reptilians, and the Dracos are the ones that want to control, because not all reptilians are bad. And so it's just like not all humans are bad, but then we're not even all humans. So human isn't even a real thing. So it's that's misleading in itself. So, anyways, because that too we're fighting against the ones that want to control us, the ones that want to charge us for resources, the ones that want to own everything that they have a marginalization over the market. They control the market. They control how we have to spend money and stuff. I was trying to explain this to my mom yesterday, because now the shenanigans going on with her trash, and just raising the prices and stuff, and there's no choices. Well, they do that on purpose, but it's a crime, and it's like something with racketeering, but they can't do that. And so anyways, it's against the constitutional rights, but they started writing their own under the corporation law, and they had changed it all, so we were under corporate law instead of the Constitution. But that's what we're trying to break back in, so we can get back under the freedom of being under that and not being controlled by them. But a lot of stuff has to break down. But the thing is a lot of people don't see how big this is, what's really happening. And it's not just, their focus is on him, but that's where things are about to get real crazy. It's about to really get groovy up in here, because now, apparently, so the real and the ran and the real are at it. And so other places, apparently us, we're saying clear out all the embassy, get back over here, because shit's about to get real. And apparently there's two branches that did not take the oath under a corporation, and those two are on the forefront right now. They're coming out of everywhere. The NG and the MARIN and yeses. And so, because it's kind of silly too. It's like, well, what does your oath matter? Like, So I don't know. I guess because then they can be held for TREASON against them, and they can just put a little bit. All these rules and laws are so ridiculous. So, anyways, but apparently they didn't take this oath, and so they are going up against them. Well, and then we have the people who are paid by them who are fighting, and then saying that the other guy is causing the problems. Well, the problems he's causing is he's putting a riff in how they make money, which is all in crimes against us. And so and that's what's going to be the big topic of, it's going to be a lot of this, just like what Diddy is getting in trouble for with profiteering and racketeering and profiteering. I think it's like they're profiting off this racket, man. So, but it's gangster stuff. And so, and then also the other one is the RICO, and but it's said like a name, and then the crimes against the beings that are called human. That so these are going to be the big things that these people are going to be in trouble for. And so all these different corporations and stuff, because they're all branches, they're all owned by these same, it goes back and back and back, and it's like a small thing that goes out and takes over everything, and then we are taken over. And then and I lived during the time of the takeover, when they were buying the businesses out and buying the farmland, and they were getting the control of all of the markets, and we were giving it to them because people were making money, selling their stuff. And the corporation, it seemed like, oh, a gift from God. But the real thing is this battle where people think of this AI is going to take us over, because you got that huge thing going too, is that the corporation an entity did take us over, and it did do it very methodically, and it did take over control of everything. And we have found ourselves in a submissive state to this corporation. But to me, the way out isn't through violence. That is a creation of more karma. The way out is through the passive role of the exit, walking away from them and letting them collapse behind you. It's like, yeah, I see it as like I don't know, like this guy walking out and everything is falling apart behind him, and he's just walking out and the whole place is blowing up behind him, and just not being in there in the battle. And but the battle's gonna play out. And so they've got a whole bunch of stuff going. I don't even know, with all the different things. So but they're definitely making like that this is there's about to be some some firing of some things that a new thing won't, but whatever they're gonna do is gonna be done. And so whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen. Nothing to fear about it. And so it's so whatever they're gonna do, but they're telling the people to come back from these other places. They're clearing out getting all the people out of our people, clearing them out of there, so that and this would all have to do, if you go roll it back and fold it back, it would all have to do with the money and the those things that he was trying to do, because the TARRIF would have been for the institution to continue making its money. Well, when he goes up against it, and he keeps trying to tell us, but he's got to fight against the media branch of the misleading. So you have these people who are fighting him when he's trying to fight them, and he's trying to take away their power. And so, and put a stop to how they ran things. He's cleaning up the laundromat, and so it's making people mad. And then some people are just, puppets, and so they have to do certain things for this industry, and so they have to, um, even if they look foolish or obvious, they still are a puppet. So they have to do what they're told, which is not living your truth, is not living by your soul. It is being used. And then it's like, well, what are you getting out of it? So you're always getting something. And people need to look at what it is they're getting, because that's where you can break down, break out, break free from what binds you, what holds you. Is you got to see, like, what am I getting out of this? Why am I doing this? What am I getting from this? And because there's something, in the weirdest ways, people can make themselves feel good and feel better about things. So, but you got to be honest with yourself, and that's, part of the spiritual journey, part of the reflection, part of the introspection, being real with yourself and breaking free from your patterns. And the world is, turning the light on your patterns and your behaviors right now, so you can see them for yourself. And it's also trying to make itself known as the magical world that it is, because we have been bound into bound into this hysteria of fear of everything. And so, anyways, so they've got this whole big thing going. But we also had that going a few months ago when, the Crane and the Vladimir, those guys were gonna with each other, and which was gonna affect everybody else. And so they kept making all these threats, and so these threats keep going and going and going. But we have a couple of other things going right now too, is because we have this 250th fucking anniversary of shenanigan, whatever the fuck. Oh yeah, there was a weird thing about Donald on the plane. And so on the 9th step, he trips. And then on 10 and 11, he fixes himself. So that people are speculating over the date. And this is to come back from that, because we got real screwed on that. They've been screwing us over on a lot of things. But that was a big thing about that we were supposed to be going on the gold standard then. And then that building had a lot of stuff in it, like papers or money or something. So they blew it to so anyways, it's a part of this NESARA thing. So so this celebration, this 250th thing, which I heard somebody say we have been under corporation for since 1876 or something, which I don't know, all these different things. There's all these people that go and like spend all this time looking stuff up, but some stuff were misled, some things are lies. It's just like, but there's just shenanigans, nonstop shenanigans. So I don't know. We've been under the corporation. I just know the corporation was taking our rights away from us, making us be under their rules and their laws. And they've been doing it since coming here and taking the land from the tribes and stuff. And that's a full circle thing too. Why the tribe's standing up and saying, you've been running us up our land and claiming it as your own for far too long. And so it's everything's standing up against the powers that be, and it's not letting them push us anymore, not letting them control us. And then we just constantly comply to their control and submit to all of their rules and their laws. But that's what has to change. But it's just so many people think like that right now. It's this this is dictator guy. And it's like, no, this is so much bigger than that. This is not one guy doing this. This is fucking these people that run the letter U and then the letter with an N. The people who try and sell us on this place being a globe because they are the ists of it. So those people, they are also, control freaks and think that, the eugen or anything, that they get to decide who stays and who goes. Well, of course, who stays is the ones that are mindless workers. They don't cause problems. They just work their ass off and spend a lot of money. So these people make money, and so they just live off of other people. But then the people who are expendable, they just eat them. They don't care. So, and yeah, because even on the garbage thing, when I was telling her, like, because the whole thing is they sell us on something. They sell us on this pollution and stuff. Because mom's always been out of shape because she grew up on a farm, and it's it was very more independent. And you took care of your own garbage. You could burn it. You could dig a hole and have your own garbage dump. It was your problem. And they took that away from people, and they took control over it, and then they can jack up the price. And what's even sicker, because it's when it goes back to garbage, which is just ironic to me, is that gangsters are who started that shit. But then make a big old giant landfill so you can discard the leftover bodies and stuff. So it's just, they sell us on that they're doing something good for the planet, and this is how we have to live, and we have to pay them for the service. But really, it's just another part of their system of corruption and bullshit. So, anyways, but this guy, he's going and putting a problem in. When he went in the first time, he already started changing and collapsing their stuff. He bankrupted their corporation and stuff. The legal one, they called themselves America. And so he caused a lot of problems, and that's why they started trying to do him in and get rid of him, put him in jail, all this stuff. And so, because he wasn't fucking around, and he knew right what to do. And so then, but he's not just him, it's this giant team. And so, and it's the team of light, it's the team that's going against the dark, because the dark has been in control too long and they're out of control. And so the light is now, it's their time, so everything is going to go in their benefit. And so things are turning, the tables are turning, the energy is changing. And so things are going to start going in the favor of the light, whereas it's always been in favor of the dark. But it is also, it makes the dark in people show up more. But you have to be willing to look at yourself to see the darkness, to get it out of you. And so so this celebration that they got going, somehow they're saying, I don't know, his birthday somehow was the same day as this big anniversary, which that is causing a huge problem where there is a giant thing being planned. So there's a whole bunch of stuff being planned. So if it's coming from other countries, it's coming from within. And so it would seem this week there's a big plan for something bad to happen. And it will be one side trying to fight against it, but they won't be able to stop what's going to happen. And he has said that a bunch of times, They can't stop what's going to happen. You got to show the people, and the ending's not for everybody. And that's all true. And so there's going to be a lot of death. It has to play out because it's the only way that it works. As humans, they can't just sit us down in front of a TV and explain it to us. No, we have to be unprogrammed. We have to see, we have to understand it. And so, but to me, whatever would be the big event that would happen this, if it's going to be this week, it would be to turn on the lights for everybody to see, because there's so many people who are looking in a misdirected way. So many people. Oh my God. In so many different aspects. Like, just like these spiritual people, like, we're all going to be blown up. We're all going to die now. And we came here for this, but it's just like, and maybe that, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna, I don't know who all's going. I don't know. Everybody's got their own storyline that they're here, to play out. You got to get in touch with your higher self to see, to understand what your storyline is, what you're doing here. But anyways, it seems like that they are really setting the stage for some big thing to happen this week. That would be a violent thing where it probably will be a lot of people. And I told my daughters, I said, I would be staying away from those places. Well, you got to stand up for tyranny. Yeah, but what is the way that we stand up? In the more passive ways to pull our energy, not go at it and battle it out. And they're going to be drawing that in, but they are going to also be creating really horrible things. So there's a lot of things planned. And there's, I guess, apparently a website that's been created so that you can go on and you can get involved in planning these big things that they're going to do. But there's more going on than just each of these battles, but there's going to be some stuff going on in some of these cities. And it seems that they've got some different branches showing up in some of the cities. So maybe they know what some of the targets are going to be. But things are going to, it seems like things are going to get real haywire, but it's going to be the snap that gets people to see the truth. So however it's going to play out, it's going to snap people out of this fog of not being able to see who the true enemy is and what our real battle is. And so the battle, for our soul, for our energy, for our opportunity to exist, and them wanting to control and contain and all that stuff against us. I told my daughter, I said, yeah, it would have been great at the airport. You see, I know that she just wants to focus on this one guy, but it's like, no, I'm going to talk about what's real. And the control that they have over us. And yeah, we got to fight against it. And and I don't know what else is going on with this, the frozen cubes going, and I know it's all a big show to get us to get to this point of all coming together and realizing our rights. And, and we have to have something to stand up to in a lot of cases. So, and it's going to play out a lot of different ways because there's people here to play out different things. So there'll be people who will be front on the lines. It has to do with other things from past lives. It's not like you have to go out and do that to be a good person. No, you got to follow your internal guidance. If you're guided to go do that, then, follow your guidance. But there's a lot of dark energy out there trying to guide us into chaos too. So you got to really, what are you here for? Are you here to go out and, leave your blood in the field? Or are you here to experience what is to come? And it's not to let those, and it's not to be like, well, those people can go kill themselves and we'll benefit from it. No, it's a state of consciousness. It's a state of mind. And so it's a learning kind of development. So that state of battle is gone on through mankind's history. And so there's a lot of that has to play out. But in the soul's evolution, there's a lot of souls who can see like these things are going to play out. It's going to happen. But that doesn't mean we all have to be a part of it. And we have to focus on what our part is and allow the things to happen in a natural occurrence. It creates the change, the world that we are going to go towards, go into, create the world, what it's going to become. And so there's going to be a lot of different things playing out. And there's definitely going to, I mean, when you hear the people talking and stuff and the fear building, then, it's going to be some kind of event that's going to seem real scary. maybe, maybe they're going to try and use some of those, those kind of the NUKEs or something. They're going to try and use those, and then that's going to cause the ships to come and show. Like, there's so many different things that can play out. And I just know that it's not something that we need to be all scared, and that we don't uh, get out of these concepts or these ideas like, you're going to die or you're going to jump out of it or this guy's the problem or whatever, all this stuff. And in the world of passivity, of the world of not creating more karmic debt, is that you would just walk your road. You would just go towards you and walk away from the system. And so uh, the choice of all of the passive people walking away, pulling their energy from the system, is also collapsing the system. You got people who are going to fight, I guess, apparently, and that's going to be what plays out for their souls. But there is a choice of being of the higher mind, of being like, I don't have to play this game with you. I don't have to force you to allow me to do anything. I can just walk away. I don't have to, I'm not going to have your stores. I'm not going to have your electricity. I'm not going to have your conveniences, which, it's a step down. Like, I walked into where I'm in a garage, but I haven't fully walked out of the system. I'm not just living out in a cave or something, which my neighbor told me yesterday, because she works at the school and now the school year's ending. So she said she's going to be able to get to the post office and get the stuff sent. And she said, oh, and there's been guys over at your house loading up a trailer and stuff. And he's kind of like, I don't really, things triggers happen or whatever. It just makes me kind of sad. I'm not going to get mad at the universe or whatever. I was led to follow my instincts and do that. And I know that when you follow your instincts, that there's a purpose behind it. And so I know that something better is coming, but still, it's hard to let go of everything that was there. But that's kind of what we're going through in life. It's like a big letting go of things, and it's hard. So weird, because I've always been somebody who just holds on to things. And things that I had, like, I don't even remember. I had my original hairbrush from my first hairbrush I went and bought for myself, like when I was 16. I was using that, I think, in my 40s. I just keep things, and I always had that in my mind of, well, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. You gotta let go of things. But when you're trying to let go of things, it's hard. But then when you see like the other more mental or emotional state behind like hoarding or whatever, it's filling an emotional space. It's filling space so you don't feel so empty. And so the holding on to things gives you something to hold on to, and a concept of a time, of things, of who you are, what you've been. And so there's more to the things. So the letting go of things is a process of letting go of who you were at that time, letting go of what was important to you at the time. Like, literally, my mom was sitting there cleaning something out. She's pulling out these like flyers from my old business and business cards and shit. And I was like, throw that shit away. And then she finds where one of the grandkids wrote on the back of it to Nana or something from something like that. And oh, I have to keep it for that. You don't. No, you don't. Like, we hold on to stuff that is like so unnecessary. And it's like, just let go of things. Let go of things. Because you can't. You can't take it with you. How much stuff are you going to stockpile and hold on to? Because then, because you couldn't let go of it, then somebody else has got to go in and get rid of it for you. And it's like, we just got to go through the process of letting go of things, cutting the ties, processing through and being like, who you were at the time and what was important. But sometimes you got to let go of that stuff and move on and see what's ahead. And it can be difficult. Oh, and one of the things yesterday I forgot to say, because I was going to tell the story, and then I went off on another one, because the temptation was this couch. One of the neighbors has this gray couch that they set out in the driveway. And I had just gone to the thrift store to take my mom because she's looking for this island with drawers to put into her thing. And there was this chair sitting there. And there's a certain kind of chair there's a lot of chairs I think are cute. And so I saw this chair and I was looking at it. I was like, oh my God, that chair's so cute. So I look at the tag and it said it was $40. And so I was like, well, it's cute. And this lady walks up to me and she goes, it's 75% off. It's a blue tag. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this fucking chair. So I got this chair for $10, another one of my $10 chairs. And it's gray with these white flowers. And it's really cute, but it would go really cute with this gray couch. And then at my old place, when I was moving there, and I got this big check that came out of the blue for me to move, because I knew, because you just got to go with, things happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, I saw this cool ass Jeep up in town when I went there the other day, and I was like, oh man, I'd love to get that. And then I saw on the thing $18,000. Well, if I was meant to get it, then a check would show up, or something would come, and the money would be there. That's how it works. And so it's not like, I have to go crazy. Well, I've got to have it. I've got to have it. Whatever I can do, I'm going to wheel and deal my way to it. Then there's repercussions to your wheeling and dealing. When things are supposed to be the way they're supposed to be, it will just come to you. And so at the time when I was moving over there, this money just came to me, and I spent some buying this couch, this expensive couch, and I had the measurements and stuff, and I thought it was going to fit really good, but when I got there, it like took up the whole room. So this big ass couch, it was like a whole room was this big ass couch. And then my neighbor had a smaller couch that she was going to get rid of that she had, because she wanted a bigger couch. And so I wanted her smaller one, so I got rid of my other one, which ended up having to go to the landfill, which I felt bad. But it was Stella. That's when Stella, the couch was hers. So she really had, used that one a lot. So anyways, I got this new couch, but it was given to me by my neighbor. And so, and it ended up staying. I didn't take stuff like that. And, but anyways, I just was like, that's so weird. Because in that one, I had bought a chair before I went, and it was used, and it was $30. And it was this big chair, and I liked it. It's in the old videos. And, but I really liked that one, and I thought I had plans to recover it and stuff. But, you just never know the turns that are going to be taken in your life. And so, but it matched the couch that she gave me in it. So the chair was brown with these like burgundy flowers, and the couch was brown leather. And so this chair is gray with these white flowers, and so I got it, for $10. And I was like, because at this point, these are my chairs. One of them is Max's bed, and then I have this rocking chair and this new chair. That's my furniture. Well, I brought my table, my kitchen table, and a couple of chairs for that. But anyways, so that couch, seeing that was like temptation. It was like, oh man, do I down there and try and cram it in here and crowd this place up so I can have a couch that matches my chair when I move out of here. But, you know, I don't know when the universe is planning on moving me. I don't know what's to come today, tomorrow. I know that it's up ahead. I just don't know on the day and time, you know, of when and how it's going to play out. But then it's kind of like, well, would the couch be like the first step? Is that my sign? Should I get the couch because then it won't fit in here? So they're going to give me a bigger, like, I don't know. And now I don't know how long it's been sitting out there. I told my mom yesterday, I said, the neighbor has a couch, and she said, I bet you it's really nice. But I was like, man, it just would be too hard to fit in here. But anyways, I just thought that was funny about the chair I had and the couch the neighbor gave me, and then this chair, and then all of a sudden this couch that matches it shows up. And I was like, that is so weird. But that's the magic of the hobgoblins, the magic of the universe, the fairies, there's magic around us. And so anyways, I don't know. Maybe I'll walk down there and drag that couch up here and stick it in here and sit on it until they give me a new place to put it. So anyways, but right now it's so nice and roomy in here. And I don't know. It seems like I have it set up real nice in here right now. And adding in a couch. And I was like, I'll be able to buy a couch. I can buy a couch. And I don't even know that I'm going to want this chair in my living room. I might want a whole different set of furniture in my living room. This may be the chair that I'm going to have that sits in my dressing room. Because I'm definitely getting a dressing room. I'm 100% on that. I'm going to have a dressing room. I'm not having a closet. Not a walk-in closet. No, I'm having a dressing room. And it's going to be fucking cool. And that may be the chair that's going to sit in there. That either I sit on to put on my shoes, or I set things on top of it, whatever. It's a cool chair, and I like it. It was $10. So, anyways, that was my bargain that I got. So, let's see, what else was I gonna say? Let's look at my hair. I can tell you for sure my nails are breaking, and so I don't know if my hair is growing or falling out. It seems like it's still growing. Oh, no, that seems like a long piece. But see, those girls, they were showing like a whole bunch of those. But, yeah, that's like newer hairs. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be suckered into buying more of those damn shoes again. So, I don't know. Because I don't want to have it fall out if it starts coming in. That's the fuckery, man. Like, there's so much fuckery. I don't know how to break free from this shit. Like, we need these minerals and stuff. It must be something with the density or something. Like, we fall apart because some flying by. Maybe those are confirmations when something flies by real quick. So, anyways, on my tooth. Oh, my God. And my teeth are so fucking sensitive. I was trying to eat some salsa, and it was out of the fridge. But, oh, my God, all my teeth. So, not just this one. This one's extra special hurting, but all my teeth. It was just an intensity. The energy is super intense. It's making my teeth hurt, I think. So, anyways. Oh, look. It seems like that's a better color. Well, anyways, who knows how long it's going to take. Sometimes I feel like I just want to yank it out of there. But we've come a long ways. I'm just going to keep going. Trying to just keep everything at room temperature. So, but I'm going to go make myself another cup of tea, I'll tell you that. And it seemed like that there was something else I was going to say about something. I'll probably remember as soon as I finish. But everything does seem just wacky. People fighting against not wanting to see, having desperately to keep the storyline existing that they believe, because that will fracture their reality. But the storylines are going to keep falling apart, and things are going to continue to fall apart. And the best way is to just go, let it fall apart. Let things fall apart and just keep picking yourself back up. And let parts of you be stripped away. Let parts of you fall away. Question yourself. Question your motivation. question, you know, everything you do, why you're doing it. What are you doing? What is your purpose? Try and really recognize your patterns, what your triggers are, what are the things that get you pissed off, and recognizing your biases is so important too. Is the people you don't give value to, because we're all equal, and if you don't give equal value to everybody, then you've got some kind of a bias that you don't see someone's value, and so you have some sort of judgment, just like thinking Bonnie Blue, she's doesn't have the same value. She's less valuable. Really, she's just this broken girl who doesn't value herself, and she desires money. But the thing about where people desire money is kind of sad, because that is how they start seeing themselves as having value. They can't see themselves as having any value unless they have something like that. And so, and then some people get caught up in, what they can have and what they can show, and all the things that come from being able to spend the money. So, but everybody has their own broken parts, and they have to see them. And you have to realize, like, even if you find somebody who's you think is so broken, well, you're broken too. And when you just focus on someone else's brokenness, that just shows how much more broken you are. And so we have to, stop being focused on other people's broken parts, and let people live their lives and figure it out and find out for themselves, because the universe has that ability. They're not just they're not just doing it for you. They're not just waking you up. No, it's a written in the stars situation. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets the same thing. It's just on different timers. It has to do with what influences them, what things they need to think about or work out. So, and that's where we have to learn to have more respect for the universe and allow it to play stuff out. Quit trying to control others, quit trying to manipulate others, quit trying to control the world, quit trying to, the more that we pull ourselves free, the more free we become. When you're not having to save the world, you're not having to wake everybody up, you're not having to, it's got its own time and place. It's going to happen naturally. It's all going to happen naturally. And, when we're here to watch, we're here to, well, in some cases, we're here to witness, but in other cases, they're here to experience what it feels like. And so, anyways, that's, I feel like I swear to God, I just feel like I say the same thing over and over and over. But I don't know another way to say it. But I can see it. I can see it so clearly. And there's such a drive or motivation to explain, to get people to see, to understand. When there's so many people, it just seems so lost. But anyways, thanks for bearing with me. I feel like I redundantly repeat myself on all of this stuff. So anyways, hopefully I think you guys see what I'm saying. And so anyways, but it's it has so much value. It's so important. Is this learning how to love yourself? Like poor Bonnie, she doesn't, she can pretend like she does, but nobody would treat themselves that way that really love themselves. Nobody would value money over self-respect. So loving yourself is respecting yourself, giving yourself value. And we have to learn how to give ourselves value. And there's even this period of time of learning our own value so that we can receive, because abundance is coming. But a lot of people, they go out chasing money, but then they don't think that they deserve anything. And so it's like been living a hard life for a long time. But this is where things change. And this is where you start believing in yourself and start believing good things can happen for you, and start allowing good things to happen for you, because it really is the energy you put out comes back to you. And if it keeps being bullshit, then you got to recognize, like, I'm putting out some bullshit and I just can't see it. So how do I figure it out? The best way is to go into a time of silence and ask yourself. and be open to seeing the truth and seeing, but you have to also be able to translate sometimes what it is that they're showing you. And so you may be confused over what it is, but keep working at it, keep chipping away at it, because you'll get there. And learning how to love yourself is a journey. It's not like you can just do it and it's just, all done. No, you're going to keep having pressures put onto it, triggers, things happening, occurrences, so you can really learn it. So, learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody, and learning how to have the day that you want to have. That's what I think that we're doing here. So, anyways, we'll talk about it again tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.